fantastic lover.
Hello and welcome to Veterans That Rock. I am Zach Rabbit, United States Air Force veteran and guitarist of the Spyders of HBG. And joining me is my co-host, the ever-popular United States veteran, Sailor Scott.
Hey, what's up? Welcome again. I am Sailor Scott, U.S. Navy veteran and bass riffer for Mag Electric and Silver Dollar Generals. And we are Veterans That Rock. We are a monthly podcast that features veterans that are artists, that are musicians, actors, painters, sculptors, photographers. And today we have a very talented musical guest.
That's right, Sailor Scott. We are talking about the one, the only Jamaican reggae artist, Shaggy.
Yes, we are talking about Grammy Award winner Shaggy, a reggae rapper and songwriter who enlisted in the United States Marines in 1988 as an artilleryman. He was in the 5th Battalion, the 10th Marine Regiment, which he also nicknamed the Five and Dime, 2nd Marine Division, which was based out of Marine Corps Base, Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
You know, that's right, Sailor Scott. I have a really cool video lined up just to kind of put you in the mental space that Shaggy would have been in at that time. You have Full Metal Jacket for things like the 1960s Vietnam War, but we have a great movie called Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. And this is a scene where you get a little taste of Marine Corps basic training when Shaggy would have been there.
Then, isn't my scribe supposed to know how to draw? Sir, the recruit doesn't know. The recruit thought the scribe was supposed to write. Of course the recruit doesn't know. The recruit doesn't know because I haven't told him. All right, Cumber Brains. Show me exactly where your skivvies and running shoes go. Sir, the recruit can't think while a drill instructor is hitting him on his head, sir. You can't think while I'm giving you a few love taps? How the fuck are you going to fire your rifle when grenades are going off in your face? What the fuck are you even doing here? Sir, I got lost on the way to college, sir!
And I always loved how Don't Worry, Be Happy comes in right after that.
Yeah, that's really funny. Getting back to Shaggy, I mean, he moved to Brooklyn from Jamaica with his mother when he was 18, and he basically just was like was trying to find ways to support himself and opted to join the Marines, which I feel like is pretty amazing. That's a pretty bold move. Like, I kind of was doing the same thing, and I opted for the Navy just because I guess it was a less grueling boot camp. I mean,
everybody has the question, isn't the Marine Corps a part of the Navy?
Yes, you are right, Zach. The Marine Corps is was started as the infantry part of the U.S. Navy.
Okay, so what you're saying is that they're in the Navy, but don't tell them that.
Exactly, yes. You don't want to tell a Marine that he's a Navy man.
And one of the things I found interesting, and the reason I brought up Jarhead, is it is a book that was written for that generation of soldiers. And funnily enough, I would say that there's also another great series called Generation Kill, just showcasing the life that these men would have had to go through, specifically the Marine Corps. Which is, known as the toughest fighting force in the world. Don't tell the Green Berets that, I guess, as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Shaggy, for what it's worth, I mean, that's a great feat, and I give a lot of respect. He was in from 1998 to 1992. And he, from 1990 to 91, Shaggy and his regiment deployed to the Middle East during the liberation of Kuwait, known as Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I was still in high school, so he's a teeny bit older than I am, and like boot camp was back then still no joke. I feel like it's still no joke today, but I remember even my Navy boot camp was kind of horrible, and I think after I got out in 2000 era, I think people in boot camp were were allowed to issue or raise up like a stress chit in case because I think people were like dying and nobody was like saying anything.
I think we have to understand too, like this is a completely different time than right now in 2026. Like the military was a completely different beast. Culturally, the world was a completely different beast. And again, that's why I bring up Jarhead, is because it does show this is the first war where really it was a diverse fighting force, where it was black and white men and Puerto Ricans, Mexicans. The culture of the time was moving from one of based in the 50s 60s rock and roll culture to more of a hip hop and R&B influence. New York City was more bustling with the rhythms of world music and things like that. John Lennon himself in 1980 was a big fan of reggae music, so I find it interesting that Shaggy, his real name being Orville Richard Burrell, he was born October 22nd of 1968 in Kingston, Jamaica, and was brought over with his mother to New York City. Incredible feat in itself for that, just with everything going on with the 80s and the end of the 80s with Grenada into the early 90s and such. Obviously all the tensions from Vietnam in the 70s and the surrounding Asian continents that were also included in that. So compared to the 2000s or the 21st century, it's a completely foreign environment, but it was a rough and tumble place, and you really had to fight.
Yes, this was one of the first wars that was all volunteer, no drafts, and these soldiers were putting their lives on the line, like coming back amputated, and then later on throughout the past 10, 20 years, a lot of people were coming back with PTSD was like, first getting recognized. And Shaggy was in it, and
Shaggy was in it.
He was in it. It's from the research, that's why I love doing this with you, Zach, is because like you find out like he had a couple of UAs, which were unauthorized absentees, and doing this drive from North Carolina back to New York, and I missed New York. I was stationed in Virginia Beach, and I bet we were on the same path drive-wise, like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which was like crazy. I never had any UAs, unauthorized absentees, because I was like just scared, kept my head down, tried not to get in trouble. But he had a passion, and that passion at the time was his music, and he was coming up making that drive, and it paid off for him. Like he was a determined person, like to be that determined just to join the Marine Corps is like pretty amazing. And I'm sure he had great his drive was great. I'm sure he had great habits, and really wanted to make this music thing work. And making that drive up, I really miss New York too, so I could kind of relate to this this passion he had for just coming back here and pursuing his dreams.
Yeah, he always seemed very, I mean, it definitely seems like he knew what he wanted to do, but was working his way towards, he didn't want to starve, right? I think we actually, I have a great video here that talks about how the drill sergeant voices in basic training were actually what inspired the Shaggy voice that we all know and love. We're gonna insert this clip right here of American Dad with Shaggy. Can we do that?
Yeah, one time, Mr. Lover. Yeah. But I got this voice by mocking drill instructors in the military. Because in the Marines, the drill instructors would go, "Hey, boy, drop and give it 20. Let's go, boy." And I would mock them as a form of joking. Because it motivated, your platoon. I just sang that song in that voice. Because, it sounded cool. And all of a sudden, "Oh Carolina" blew up, and now I'm faced with a situation that I'm going to have to sing every song like that. If you listen to songs like "Big Up" or "Mumpy," those songs are sung in a different voice than "Oh Carolina." "Girl, if you fall down your both expenses," is a different tone. It is not the same tone as I would on, "Oh Carolina."
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man, that he could take that from drill sergeants and doing the cadences. I saw another clip where it's like, they would do, maybe I'll just play it for you. It's where he's talking about mocking the drill sergeants because they had to come up with these like funny cadences.
Marines, we used to sing cadences, and so they'd call me out because I was kind of like the clown of the platoon. So they would like call me out to sing, and I would be like, "I don't know, but I've been told my CEO wears pantyhose." It would make these really funny cadences, and it would motivate them. But little did I know I was running and singing. That was from the gut. And the voice I used was just what I would mock the drill instructors. Because they're, "Hey, boy, stop eyeballing me, boy. Drop and give it 20, boy." And I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, like, it really is a real thing, too. I mean, that is the biggest thing that you're learning. You're learning your discipline in the military. You're learning how to control your mind and yourself in moments of disarray and dysfunction, and it's one of the greatest skills that I think anybody can have, because I think that's why a lot of these celebrities go on to do such directed, impactful things, is because they have the discipline to see forward and move towards the goal that they want to accomplish, and Shaggy's a perfect representation of that thought process. I have a story similar where I always felt that I had decent rhythm and timing, so when I had fellow airmen or trainees at that time that were having trouble, I would beatbox for them, and there was this one individual that was having a really tough time, and I just remember it was like, "It's easy. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4." And then this TI comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "What the heck are you doing?" And like, we're just like, "Oh no." And we got our 341s pulled, but I had to have a conversation with my my MTI later that day, and I told him I was trying to be constructive with my instruction.
Was that in boot camp?
That was, that was in 2011. That was when I was in.
That's funny. Yeah, they don't let you have any pleasure in boot camp. Even if you're trying to help out another person, like, it's like, come on.
But it is interesting because the discipline, in my opinion, would have been 10 million more times important in that war, because it was the first war there really wasn't any American casualties. The massive amount of casualties were actually from PTSD and mental illness. Something I think Jarhead really delves into, and something I experienced myself. These men were also the first people to fight in a desert war. I mean, it's not a very common knowledge anymore, but I mean, the tactics that were being used by the enemy, if you will, at that time, even though, as we've learned now, that wasn't the truth. They were using tactics that were started by someone named T.E. Lawrence, or Lawrence of Arabia is the more popular name. Things like improvised explosive devices and guerrilla warfare, town to town. Those were all things that were fought in World War I. But the nations of the time decided to divide that land into the world that we know of today, and those issues have never really subsided. So these guys were basically just put there to wait and wait and wait and wait. And it wasn't like today where you have a 6-month deployment. I mean, these guys were a year, maybe more.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I would not, thank God I was on an aircraft carrier. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that's one of the things about being a munitions troop, is that we were out there in the heat helping. We had their bullets, so we had the luxury of being able to get a little bit in the shade. But munitions troops, both on Navy ships and everything, are usually used to getting the dung, if you will.
Yeah.
Going back to Shaggy, though, I mean, he's, like you said, he's a Grammy Award winner. He piloted a whole new generation, mixing R&B with reggae, and he made hits. The first one, I believe,
Mr. Big Up, yeah, Big Up. Winning, he was nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, winning twice for Best Reggae Album with Boombastic in 1996, which was the year I joined the Navy. But I do remember, like, Shaggy was huge when I was in the Navy. Boombastic was played all the time. The funny thing about how I could relate with Shaggy is, like, after I got out of the Navy, I went to college and just really cared about music. So I was like a big part of the Stony Brook WUSB radio station. And when Shaggy released the song It Wasn't Me, right?
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
His most beloved hit for sure. I think that's the one most people know when you say Shaggy.
Yeah, and that song, it's controversial because it's like about a person cheating or getting caught cheating, and the album, I think, did not do very well. And there's this great Vice special about the song "It Wasn't Me" and how a radio station in Oahu, Hawaii, this is like the year 2000, and the radio station DJ at the time was using Napster to find, songs that were in, I guess he was the reggae program director, and I was a program director at my radio station, college radio station. I think I did more like underground punk and stuff, so I used Napster a lot to find a lot of songs. And it's funny how this guy just used Napster, found It Wasn't Me, and I'll play the clip. It kind of blew up, and then they sold like 10 million copies. Let me just play this clip really quick if we have time.
So I guess it was him.
What's that? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can find on the internet. He says it wasn't. But this documentary is worth watching from Vice.
In 2000, I was an afternoon DJ at KIKI. My job as being a music director for Hot 939 in Honolulu was procuring music.
I heard that the DJ in Hawaii, he tried to reach out to MCA to get a copy of the album, the promo album. I mean, they were basically like, fuck off. We're not sending any more out. We gave out however many. So he wound up grabbing it off of Napster.
You know what, the way you say it and the way it sounds like I did some shady underground downloading thing. Like, I just wanted an edge. I wanted to be better than every other radio station in Hawaii. So that's when I started scouring the internet. I saw Shaggy and I was like, you know what, I'm going to download that. It Wasn't Me came on. And when you listen to the record, it's a one-listen record. It's one of those records where you're like, damn. I found myself singing the damn song halfway through the song. Picture this, we're both butt naked. So I walked into the studio, I put it into the CD player, press play, listen to like the first bar. Next thing you know, I started looking to the left, and that's where the phone lines were. And right where the phone lines, 1 started blinking, 2 started blinking, 3. And I'm like, okay, I'll get to it. Let me enjoy the song. But once the hook came in, butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor, I looked over to my lines, and next thing you know, all 6 of them were going off. Hot 939, hello? Hey, brother. Hey, who this right now on the radio? Oh, my man, it's Shaggy. It wasn't me. Oh, thanks, Roger. Get in, bye. Hot 939, hello? Who's this? It's Pablo. No. Who's this on the radio? Oh, Shaggy. It wasn't me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care. Goodbye. This song reached everybody on the island of Oahu. There was so much reaction from every radio station in Hawaii. Can we get this record as well? The label goes, we don't know how. We don't even have it. I've got the only copy of Shaggy. It wasn't me.
And all of a sudden,
That's incredible. That's wild. That all they had was, like, nobody even had a copy of it except that Napster copy. That's cool.
Yeah, and the record labels, of course, unsupportive of the time until they started selling more copies. But it's like, that's why these record labels,
Shaggy was discharged in 1992 from the Marine Corps, and the whole reason that he joined was because he needed money. He needed to eat. And when he left, because of the time he spent with the unexcused absences, he was an established artist in the music world. So he'd set up a career for himself before he even got out. It's pretty incredible. I mean, he went on to make not just "It Wasn't Me" or "Angel," "Big Up." I mean, he had songs like "Clothes Drop," "Intoxication," "Summer in Kingston," "Out of Many," "One Music," "Come Fly With Me." That's a big one. "Hot Shot" in the summertime. "Oh Carolina." He's just a machine of music, and he actually he was rewarded for his work with winning Grammys, but he was also in 2007 awarded the Jamaican Order of Distinction. It's a prestigious honor for Jamaicans, ranked number 6th. It's awarded. Sorry, it's awarded to citizens for outstanding important service to the country or to foreign nationals, and it was established in 1968. It's pretty cool to not only be a part of history with his time in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, but to also be a recognized name in your military and the people of the world you moved into from Jamaica and still working with current artists. I mean, the man has a legacy, that's for sure.
Yeah, speaking of Shaggy's legacy, getting the Order of Distinction from Jamaica, receiving a degree from Doctorate of Fine Arts from Brown University. Really overall well-rounded gentleman, I would say. And he is a philanthropist of sorts. Shaggy, who actively supports veteran organizations, particularly those focusing on mental health and the transition from military to civilian life, which you and I have talked about, Zach. He's
worked with some really great people who do great work in that, like the Veterans Wounded Warrior Family Assistance Fund.
Yeah, he's worked with Home Base Support. Shaggy is a prominent supporter of Home Base, a Red Sox foundation in Massachusetts, General Hospital program. Hearing the sirens going off. Program dedicated to healing the invisible wounds of war. Which is, PTSD and traumatic brain injury.
I think something that was really cool was that he worked on a program called Talking Helps. It was a campaign that he ran in 2020 with the Home Base organization. and it was just a prompt for veterans to seek help, and it was trying to communicate a camaraderie between veterans, and that camaraderie is essential to helping each other get through the difficulty that can come with veteran life in the civilian world. I think it's incredible. Everything that he does free concerts for veterans, something like Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. He also has philanthropic work in Jamaica, where he works with the Make a Difference Foundation, supports the Bustamante Hospital for Children in Jamaica, and he regularly leverages his platform to support military-focused causes.
Yeah, so there you have it. That's our episode. This is episode 13. We just featured Shaggy. Really awesome. I really got into reggae as I mentioned, when I was in college. I was a program director, and one of my college friends at the time, who got me into the radio station, this guy Eric, he was the program director for reggae, and he soon later on worked for VP Records, which is also here in Jamaica, Queens. And who has VP Records has offices all over. Here in New York, Miami, London, Kingston, Tokyo, Johannesburg, and Rio de Janeiro. Great label, reggae label. I don't know if, off the top of my head, if Shaggy was on any was on VP Records at all, but huge fan. Definitely very happy we covered Shaggy in this episode.
Yeah, and I'd like to say too that there's a scene again in Jarhead, and even Generation Kill mentions it. There's a bunch of different movies from that time frame. Black Hawk Down, as recent as The Sniper with Bradley Cooper. But there's a line that always stuck with me where they're listening to the radio and they hear 60s music, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who plays the author of the book, says, "Can't we have our own soundtrack for our war?" And one of the things that touches me, I guess, is seeing the soundtrack of that war, and it was a soundtrack that I listened to at war and made the same comment. So, just an interesting analysis of art in war. How it's just as important in that culture as it is in any other culture. I just, hats off to Shaggy for inspiring the next generation. It's been an honor to have him as the first, I'd say, more modern artist. And as usual, well, besides Joey, obviously, but yeah, just it was a real treat, and he's still working hard. So if you haven't checked out any of his new work, I definitely recommend that. Plenty of interview clips, and if you haven't seen Shaggy, check him out.
Yes, check him out. Please check out that. I'll put a link to this Vice talk about Was It Me, the making or the coming, the rehashing, selling 10 million copies. Pretty incredible. Just from a DJ in Hawaii who downloaded it off of Napster and brought it back to life, and gave it some the love it deserves. And also, we were talking about Generation Kill, really good TV show that was on, I believe, HBO, and they just had one of the cast members of that just passed away, unfortunately, James Ranson. Anyway, Generation Kill is also a very good close resemblance of maybe what you could expect of what Desert Storm might have looked like.
He was the coolest too. That sucks. Sorry, I liked him. I know.
Yeah, James Ranson passed away like last week, man. Total bummer. Great actor. I believe he's a New Yorker. I believe I might have seen him once or twice here in the streets of New York. Maybe I'll run into Shaggy. We'll see if he still has a place up in here in Brooklyn or wherever in New York. And we are going to be featuring somebody also very special.
That's right, everybody. We are going to be featuring the great Morgan Freeman on the next Veterans That Rock podcast. As always, we thank you so very much for watching to the very end. If you liked what you're seeing, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, the thumbs up button. Leave a comment. This is a culture that we're trying to create, and obviously, if there's somebody you think we should talk about, past, present, future, let us know in the comments. We want to talk about what you want to talk about, and we thank you so very much for joining us.
Yes, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next month in February. Signing out. Taps, lights out.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.